And dear students, today's lecture is about introduction to genetics. Genetics is basically the study of how genes bring about different types of characteristics or traits within the living organisms and how these characteristics are inherited. What actually gene is? Gene is basically the specific sequences of nucleotides which code for the particular proteins, and these proteins are basically responsible for developing different types of traits or different types of characteristics within living organisms. But before going into detail about the genetics, first of all we will try to understand that why it is important to discuss genetics. What is its importance? First of all, we all know that science of genetics is comparatively new with other science such as astronomy and chemistry, and people have understood the inheritance nature of traits and have practiced genetics for thousands of years. The rise of agriculture began when people started to apply genetic principles to the domestication of plants and animals. So first of all we will discuss that green revolution. That green revolution is basically the important trait of genetics. Today the major crops and animals used in agriculture are quite different from their wild progenitors. Why they are different? Because of their they have undergone extensive genetic alterations or extensive genetic changes that increased their yields and provides many desirable traits, such as they have increased the disease resistance, they have raised the yield characteristic, they have also enhanced their nutritional qualities and characteristics that facilitates the harvest. This is basically known as the green revolution. Second important trait of the genetics is the pharmaceutical industry. This is another area in which genetics play an important role. Numerous drugs and food additives are synthesized by fungi and bacteria, and that have been genetically manipulated to make them more efficient producers of these substances. And biotechnology also employs the molecular genetics techniques to develop and produce different substances which are of very important commercial value. Growth hormones, insulin, and clotting factors were now produced commercially by genetically engineering bacteria, and that is also possible because of the understanding in genetics. Third importance is the gene therapy. Genetics play a very critical role in medicine development. Physicians recognize that many diseases and disorders have a hereditary component, including rare genetic disorders such as sickle cell anemia and Huntington disease, and as well as many other common diseases such as asthma, diabetes, and hypertension. These are basically have the hereditary component. So if we know that if we have an insight in the nature of the disease, then we can develop different types of gene therapies which help them these gene therapies basically directly alter the genes and which basically treats the human diseases. So now these are administered to thousands of patients, and they have changed their lives. So this is basically the three important traits of genetics. Thank you.